And I remember as I was taking this picture, it made me think back to the picture I was showing you of the heart surgery. It was kind of a similar scene. And I remember thinking, what a waste. What a waste that the money raised by Emergency and by many other charities goes on fixing fingers, legs, bodies damaged by war. When there's people dying of illnesses that could be cured in countries like Africa and Asia, and yet the money is spent recovering bodies that have been damaged by other men spending more money. It just seems like such a waste, such a circle that nobody wins from. I'm going to finish up with two pictures. This is a picture of the grounds in the hospital in Kabul, and this says a lot about Emergency. I've been to many field hospitals, many triage centres around the world in many conflict areas. And one of the things that struck me when I first visited an emergency hospital was the grounds and the layout of the place and the resulting calm. And it's something about the philosophy of Emergency. I remember talking to Gino Strada, and one of the things he said was that he felt if he was going to build a hospital anywhere, it would be as beautiful as a hospital he would build in Italy. He felt that it was as much a healing place, but also a sort of symbol of solidarity with other nations. That he would want a hospital built in Africa, he would want a hospital built in Afghanistan to be the same quality as if it was one of his children going to it. And this place in Kabul is right in the centre, and the chaos, the noise, you can hear explosions going off, sirens, it's a kind of constant maelstrom of noise, and yet the hospital grounds, even though they weren't actually purpose-built but kind of restructured, just have this sense of calm and a place where people really could recover. Now, what I was going to say at the beginning of this talk, I described how I gave up the world of fashion photography and music photography to go and tell stories of people whose lives are just like ours, but their circumstances are different. And I remember many times I've thought what I'm doing is kind of completely pointless and worthless because I can't really make a change. But my philosophy has always been that each one of us is a cog in a wheel of change. Each one of us can make a small difference. It might be you can raise some money. It might be you can write to a politician. It might be that you can give your time to volunteer. It might be, as a nurse or a doctor, you can go and do the work. For me, as a photographer, it meant I could tell stories. One of the greatest things for me from the film I did from Channel 4 was having my surgeon ring up to say, after watching the film and hearing the stories, he's going to go and work for Emergency for a while. It's those small changes that we can all make, and we make one change and then somebody else makes another change. And the result of that is this. This is Weddy and Eunice. They had had surgery just a couple of weeks before, actually a couple of days before. And I remember seeing them before and they couldn't walk. They had no energy. They were from Kenya. They were from a centre there that's for children whose parents can't even look after them. And to see them a couple of days after their surgery, because of a volunteer somewhere in Italy raising some money, that money going to another centre, that money finally ending up at the Salam Centre in Sudan, because of a doctor deciding to give up some time to go and work there, because of the nurses going to work there, because every single person involved in some small way, the result was something like that. I had the great privilege about 8 months ago, when I was just starting to get going on my legs, and before I went back to Afghanistan, I decided to go to Kenya just to kind of try out my legs in heat and at altitude. And I decided when I was there to look up Weddy and Eunice. And I went to see them in a very remote part of Kenya, and they came up to me with flowers and laughing because they remembered meeting me in Sudan. And I walked around just holding their hands, watching them laugh and play, and you just think, we can all make a difference, and it's worth doing it. Thank you.